Hello, everyone. We hope you're all doing well. Thanks for jumping on this morning. If there are any sound issues at any time, please make sure to let us know in the question box there, but hopefully we'll go off without a hitch today. Welcome to the third session of Analytics Week. We'll blow through our intro and overview of Netelixir because we have a jam-packed session today. But Analytics Week is part of Netelixir University, which is Netelixir's mission to really share knowledge and be a thought leader in search marketing. We're a group of over 100 fanatically analytical search marketers. We operate globally, and we, on the right, you'll see a list of some of our clients. We're also a preferred partner of both Google and Bing, and actually our guest speaker today is one of our partners at Google. For Netelixir, our solutions fall into 3 buckets. Our first is our full service solution. You'll see there on the left, which includes paid search and shopping management, search engine optimization, and paid social. We have our middle bucket here, which is our LXR technologies, and these are paid and organic search marketing tools, and they range from free apps to very low-cost tools, all the way up to our new tool LXR Guide, which is the first Google AdWords recommendation engine. And then we have our third bucket of services, which is our consulting. So that includes full digital marketing strategy, executive dashboards, as well as our web analytics, which Don heads up for us. Our analytics packages fall into 3 buckets. First, we have our, at the bottom there, you'll see our rookie package. So this is for anyone just getting started using their analytics. We'll set up tracking, implementation, and validation, and we can also do a one-time consultation. Our middle package is our insights packages. So here we'll do health checks, essential and advanced. We can set up your KPI dashboard, show you how to gather reporting and insights from that, as well as provide ongoing analytics support. And then we have our, what we like to call our data junkie package. So here we're really diving in deep. Some of the stuff we'll get into today and on other sessions of Analytics Week, but really going through our 4P model, revenue and profits, custom strategies, making sure that all your Google tags are fully customized to your business and really help you reach some of those strategic business goals. So moving on, as we said, it's Wednesday. We're on our third Analytics Week webinar, and today's topic is 5 insights to improve mobile performance. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about tracking your best customers with Google Analytics, and tomorrow will be at 11 a.m. Make sure that you're on a couple hours early. This is to accommodate another partner from Google, Powell. And then finally, to wrap it up on Friday, we'll be talking about the benefits from AI in IBM's Watson, and we'll have a guest from IBM speaking there as well. Some quick housekeeping notes. Again, please visit our Google group. It's #AnalyticsWeek forum. There you can post questions, want to make it very interactive, inspire the analytics fanatics out there to really engage with others in the community. Also, please feel free during the webinar to submit your questions in the chat or question field on the GoToMeeting. We'll be collecting all of those, responding as we can, but making sure also that we follow up with all of them on our blog. You can take screenshots, but totally not necessary. We'll be following up with the slides and the recording. Also, along the lines of our Google group, please feel free to tweet what you're seeing and participate in social media. And if you want reminders to join us tomorrow at 11 and Friday at 1, you can register on our website. And the last few housekeeping things until we move into this, again, we'll be having a complimentary offer. Today it's our mobile experience scorecard to go along with our topic. To take advantage of this offer, you can email us at analytics@netelixir.com requesting your mobile experience scorecard, and we will respond back to you. And also, our thought experiment today, we actually have a new prize, a special prize as well for our puzzle, which we'll announce at the end. But to participate in that, again, you'll be emailing analytics@netelixir.com. And here's the special. We'll pull it out at the beginning here. It's a Chromecast challenge. So the first 2 attendees to email screenshots of the questions that we'll be asking at the end will receive a Chromecast courtesy of Google. Sorry about that. Now I'm going to hand it over to Don, and we can jump into today's session.
Perfect. Thank you, Caitlin. All right. So first off, hopefully if you were attending the other sessions and if you got your email reminder today, you were warned that we're going to have you diving into your accounts today. So it's really going to be helpful if you could have 2 screens at your fingertips, one to look at the presentation slides, and the second one to be looking at your account. And when we're doing the exercise, please let us know how you're doing using the question chat feature. So I'd like to also give a shout out to our guest today, Steph Schmitt is an agency strategist at Google. She's a Hoya. For those of you who know who Hoyas are, she's a Georgetown grad. She cut her teeth in the fashion business before joining Google. And Steph is from the great state of Ohio. And that picture that you see there is related to one of her passions, which is boating. That is a picture of beautiful Lake Erie, which is very close to where Steph hails from in the Toledo area. So that's your fun fact for Steph today. So today we're going to be talking about 5 mobile insights that can really help you drive your mobile performance. So those items are, first, why mobile? We have some, mobile is one of those, I went to my very first mobile marketing seminar in 2010. So mobile has been a buzzword for a number of years now, though. But every time you see an update on statistics, it kind of can blow you away. So we'll have some numbers for you today. We're going to talk to you about how you can create a sense of urgency around your mobile initiatives, whether that's getting yourself to a mobile-friendly experience or actually thinking about what you're doing with your marketing as it relates to mobile. We've got some tips to help you understand where to focus your efforts on your mobile user experience on your site, and also to help you understand the full value of mobile. So, and then finally, if time permits at the end, there are a number of tools out there, both that are tools that Google has created to help you, and actually other tools that are out there that Steph will run through at the end. So, but as we always like to do, we're going to start off today with a poll. So our first poll, right? So how long has your business had a mobile-friendly user experience, right? So, so for example, if you don't know if you have a mobile-friendly user experience, the easiest way to find out is to just pull up your phone and type in, open up your browser and type in the URL, because frankly speaking, if you don't have a mobile-friendly website design, you'll see it right away. So, all right. We're almost at 2/3. I would say those findings are consistent with what I thought. So we'll give you another couple seconds and then we'll stop. So I close, share. Okay, so you can see the majority of you that have mobile friendly, I've had it somewhere between 1 and 3 years, which is I think pretty decent actually. It's kind of what I expected. And about 1 out of 4 of you haven't yet got to mobile-friendly sites. That's, I'll tell you, I think when I first looked at this for Netelixir, which was probably 2 years ago, 4 out of 10 sites were mobile-friendly. So if you think about this, where we are close to 3/4 being mobile-friendly, you know, we've come a long way in just a couple of years. So. All right, so before I move on, when you get the slide deck, here's a great tool from Google to know if you are, I'm doing it again, right here. Great tool from Google to know if your site is mobile friendly.
Perfect, and I can jump in here, Don. So right now, if you're confused, if you're not absolutely positive your site is technically mobile friendly, all you'll have to do here is just put in your URL for your website domain into that box. Again, you can click on that link. It'll lead you directly to it, and the output there is going to tell you if technically you do have a mobile-friendly design, and that's just based on Google's definition of what we consider to be mobile-friendly.
Awesome. All right, so did it update? No, there. Okay, so first topic was why mobile. So if you were with us, I think yesterday I introduced this great deck from Mary Meeker, but here is a view of internet advertising for the last 6 years, and what I really wanted you to focus on is this light blue area, because that is the mobile portion, and you can see it's been growing year over year consistently, right? So now, if, for example, you haven't really focused on mobile advertising just yet for whatever reason, I don't want you to feel bad, because here is a view. It's a very interesting slide. This compares the percent of time that we as users spend in different types of media versus the percentage of advertising spend for that media. So, for example, right over here on the left, you can see that despite the fact that print has been a dying media for years, advertisers in the U.S. still disproportionately allocate dollars to that media. And then on the right is where the mobile opportunity is. Right, so over here, for example, you can see this gap between consumption and spend on mobile, which, you know, Mary Meeker had valued at about $22 billion opportunity. I also want to highlight this part right here, because this shows you that mobile in 2015 was about 1/3 of the total internet spend, right? 21 billion versus a total pie of 60 billion. And if you were here, I think the first day I shared the fact that retailers were the #1 consumers of digital media in terms of advertising. So again, why is mobile important? If you're in marketing and haven't used the term millennial yet, then you pretty much have had your head in the sand or hiding under a rock or something, because that's all you ever hear about in the marketing trade press, right? So why does everybody care about millennials? Well, it's basic demographics 101. Millennials are the largest segment of our population today at 27%. And more importantly, where are they heading over the next, decade or so, right? Well, they're heading into their peak earning years, right? The peak earning years are basically from 35 to 55, and that's right where they're heading. So as retailers, right, that's where our revenue source is going to be coming from over the next decade, is these people who have grown up on mobile devices, right? And if you think about it, well, I don't know how many of you out there could imagine your life without your smartphone, but, try and think back. Let's see, iPhone was 2007, so think about what you were doing 10 years ago. You probably had some sort of flip phone. We're now using these things 5 hours a day. Right? That's a mind-blowing statistic when you think about it, right? And here's a number that I still can't wrap my head around that I found. Millennials are spending 3 hours a day on their phones watching video content. So that's either they're out on YouTube or, Vine, or they're watching some of their favorite TV shows streamed. right? But 3 hours of video content a day for the millennials, right? And this little pie chart just kind of shows you what they're doing on smartphones. So 76% are watching videos. The other 71% are in social media, and then 55% are Snapchatting, right? So there you have it. So, all right. So now we're going to talk about mobile urgency, right? Helping you generate interest in focusing on mobile. So the 26% of you who don't have mobile-friendly sites yet, right? This is where we're trying to aim you with that, you know, ammunition to make that happen for your website sooner rather than later. And with that, I'll hand it over to, oh, excuse me. I won't hand it over to Steph yet. I have a second poll. My bad.
All right, perfect. So the second poll we're going to do now is, in talking about mobile urgency, which percentage of smartphone shoppers do research on their mobile phone end up converting on desktops? So this is just a guessing game. If everyone wants to take a guess, again, we're talking about people who are doing preliminary research before making a purchase on their mobile phone and then later converting on a desktop.
Okay. Pretty savvy audience. All right. Give you about 10 more seconds. We're almost to 2/3 of you out there voting. Very interesting distribution. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, closing. I'm getting good at this, right? All right, Steph, take it away.
All right, thanks, Don. Okay, so this is impressive. I wouldn't say you guys are exactly correct, but the answer is 40%. So 30% of you were on the dot. I mean, it seems like majority of people were picking 30, 40, or 50. So, so yeah, this is correct. I'm not sure if this is surprising. I know that we're all consumers ourselves. But again, exemplifying this is where mobile's heading in the future, and that it truly is becoming the entry point during the purchase process. So again, just to illustrate an example of this, yesterday I'm doing research on my phone on the way to work for what I'm going to get my dad for Father's Day. Once I decided what I want to get him, a swimsuit and a hat, I come into work, quickly then get on my computer and purchase it in 5 minutes. So again, the entry point to purchase here was my mobile phone, although I did later convert to desktop. You want to go to the next slide, Don?
Yep.
Awesome. So Don did a great job of illustrating just industry-wide what's going on in the mobile space. So I wanted to take that a step further and look at it kind of through a Google lens and what we're projecting as a company. So this graph here, we all know that mobile is already here. It's not in the past. It's obviously where it's heading in the future. One example here a year ago is when we had the mobile moment at Google. So we had been projecting for a long time that desktop searches were going to be surpassed by mobile searches. And so that happened exactly about a year ago from today. And so then here's just kind of a look into the lens of what we're expecting to see in the future. So on the left-hand side of the slide, again, we're just looking at all ad spend in the past. So in 2000, majority of the ad spend was traditional media. We're thinking TV, radio, and print, and there was just a small percentage of companies that had switched over to advertising somewhat on digital. So that blue box is representing computer and tablet digital ad spend. So now we're looking at the present day. Obviously, there's been a huge shift here. Still, traditional media is the #1 source of ad spend, but you can obviously see that computer, tablets, and smartphone has taken a huge percentage away from that as companies have seen a lot more success with digital and being able to prove out those metrics performance-wise. And the most interesting part, obviously, is looking into the future where we see ourselves in just 15 years out from now. So 2030, this is where Google's, again, projecting the majority of ad spend will be. And you can see there a huge shift and majority of it being in mobile. So again, the point here, I think we're all getting it, but we really just want to prove out why there is such urgency to take action on becoming mobile friendly, making mobile a #1 priority for your business, as a long-term investment, we see it valuable as this is the way the future is going, specifically for ad spend.
Steph, let me just chime in here. We had a question. CT on that graph is for computers and tablets. So that light blue is computers and tablets together. All right.
Exactly.
Now we'll move on. Okay. Go ahead.
Perfect. So again, I think if you've been to any Google events, we love talking about the mobile moment. But again, the reason why, it's a very relatable way we can all imagine ourselves every day in our daily lives, how we use our phones and how that really impacts how we designate the way we live and what choices and decisions we make. So these are some more statistics. I just wanted to highlight a few of them. The I want to go moments. So just in the past year, there's been a 2x increase in near me searches. And again, these are these moments of intent when we're actually making a decision. So think, where are we going to go to dinner, looking on our phone, deciding which option we're going to choose. Another one I wanted to highlight here is the most important moment probably for all of us for e-commerce or retail businesses, the I want to buy moment. So at that time where we finally have the decision in our head made, 82% of smartphone users are actually consulting their phone while they're in a store shopping, deciding what to buy and which purchase they're going to make. So I think, again, we can all relate to that. It's that kind of competitive shopping, but that's really when it will determine if they're going to buy in store or if maybe they're price shopping and looking to go to a different store and maybe even see if they can get a better price online. And those are the moments that we really want to be there and show up. And again, if we're not on mobile, if we're just showing up on those desktop searches, we're not going to be in their consideration set when they're out and about shopping around for products. So to take it a step further, we've looked at a lot of industry statistics, you know, what are millennials doing, what are people overall changing their habits with mobile consumption, but why does this matter for our businesses? So if you're thinking about your own company and currently what they're doing digitally, possibly with paid search or analytics, I'm assuming most everyone has a website and e-com if they're joining in for this conference, but in kind of setting the scene for the desktop versus mobile and tablet traffic, this is what we're seeing now. So highlighting, this is just the last year of data, and although mobile has been around for a while now, it still is changing significantly in the search traffic results we're seeing just in the past year. So on the left-hand side of the graph, what we're looking at here is overall search traffic. So you can see that desktop visits on Google are staying flat or even declining for desktop, while mobile is taking off and accelerating at a very fast rate. So again, this is across all industries. We're seeing the same trend, but it really is almost like a hockey stick shape acceleration path in the past year for mobile. So I mean, the mobile moment is happening, but it's increasingly each year rising at that fast of a pace while we're seeing desktop traffic declining. And then important to note too on the right-hand side, while desktop searches overall are declining across most industries, desktop conversion rates are still increasing. So the main takeaway here is this is kind of proving out that argument that we talked about before, that people are doing this research on their mobile phones, there's more traffic there, but they still are later purchasing on desktop. Again, lots of reasons we can think of that. It's easier, quicker. We don't have to deal with the manual credit card entry on a phone or filling out a form. There's obviously still some barriers with people feeling more comfortable converting on a desktop, but just good to note that desktop is obviously still an important part of the path cycle to purchase. It's just occurring more at the end.
Oh, one thing I'd like to chime in here on is if you look at the hockey stick on the left of the mobile traffic, and then you look at the slope of the mobile conversion rate, which is positive, but obviously a much slower rate of acceleration. That sort of tells you, like, for those 1 out of 4 of you who haven't hit mobile-friendly user experiences yet, that you're not alone, right? Because if the shift in traffic was also matched by a shift in mobile-friendly environments, we would see more of a hockey stick, more of like that desktop shape in conversion rate, right? So just shows you that sort of the consumer behavior change is ahead of the curve versus you know, the website owner's ability to change to that behavior, right? And something that just occurred to me that listening to Steph talk that I hadn't thought about yet when I looked at this graph before was, if you think about that, this change here in desktop conversion rates, right? It's just kind of interesting to think about the focus of people coming to your site, right? In many cases now they're coming to your desktop site, so to speak, with the intention of getting in and getting out. So thinking about your user experience on your desktop site at, you know, to reduce any points of friction for conversion is another thought that comes out of this. So, all right, we are ready for our first exercise, and this is something new that it was actually inspired by an event that I went to at Google. I'll give a shout out to Google. But what I want you to do is go into your analytics account now, and let's take a look at what's going on with your mobile traffic, right? So I want you to go to the audience report, which you can see, if I can get my mouse over there, there you go, right? Go to audience, and then you're going to go to the mobile overview, which is where you will find reports that split up your traffic by desktop, mobile, and tablet, right? And here's what we want you to look at, right? So take a look at what percentage of your traffic is coming from mobile. You could just use the default analytics view of the last 30 days and then put on your compare periods to previous year. And then you could look at your year-over-year change rates for the mobile and the non-mobile segments. And take a look at your mobile bounce rate, especially those of you who are in the 26% where you're not mobile friendly yet, right? I think you might find some interesting insights there that might help create your sense of urgency around mobile, having a mobile friendly site. And look at your conversion rates. How are they doing on mobile versus desktop, tablet, and how is it doing year over year? One of the last numbers I saw from Google is that they're seeing, I think it was, the last number I saw was about a 30% year-over-year increase in mobile conversion rates. And that's, how do I say that? That's across the board. That's all sites, not just mobile-friendly sites. Right. So, and if there's anyone out there who for some reason doesn't have access to their analytics account right now, we threw up the puzzle on the right, so to give you something to do while other people are looking at their numbers. And let us know via the question box how you're doing, or if you're getting stumped in any way. I'm just going to repeat the section over here on the right is today's thought experiment puzzle, if anyone has already looked at their data or can't look at their data. And I'm watching the clock, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to move forward because, like I said, we had a jam-packed agenda and we're right about the halfway point. So if you had any problems with that, if you had any questions about that, you can put them on the question thing or send it to analytics@netelixir.com and I'll reply to you later today. Would like to know if anyone was surprised by any of the data they saw. So let us know that on the question chat.
All right, I'm going to take it away now.
Yep.
So in looking at what we can do to improve our mobile site, we've talked a lot about mobile urgency and why this is important. And that's kind of the main focus here is, again, if you don't have a mobile-friendly site, this is the things you want to be considering once you get your site. If you do already have a mobile-friendly site, there's a long way we can go to make your site better in terms of both design and page speed. So those are the two main important areas we want to focus on today, as that's where we've seen the most success with clients who have adopted their sites to be even more mobile friendly. So moving along to the first slide, again, why are mobile sites very important to our customers? So number one, the quality of your mobile site does have a large impact. It increases customer loyalty first and foremost, which is one of the most important things we want to do, is make sure we're always engaging with our customers wherever they're trying to find our company. So just to point out one of these stats, if your site does have a mobile-friendly site available, 74% of people say that they're more likely to return to that site in the future. And again, a relatable experience of going onto an e-commerce site online and it's terrible, and then really never trying that experience again because it was too difficult. On the other end of the spectrum, if your company has no mobile site at all, 52% of people said that they're less likely to engage with the company overall. If you want to go to the next slide, Don.
Are you ready, Steph? I'm sorry, Steph.
No worries. Yep, let's go ahead. The next slide is good.
Yeah. There it goes. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. Perfect. So again, talking about how a mobile-friendly site.
Are you there?
Okay. The previous slide, we just said that 74% of people. Can you hear me, Don?
Yes, yes. You cut out there for a moment.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, no worries. Perfect. So again, in thinking about what our customers are doing when they're visiting our sites, we did a case study here on all companies that currently don't have a mobile-friendly site experience. We actually saw a 37% increase in the bounce rate if a company did not have a mobile-friendly site. So just relating again how urgent it is that customers are coming to your site, they're searching there. If you don't have a mobile-friendly site, they're likely to just bounce off and go to another site that is mobile-friendly. And another thing this is proving out is that customers and consumers overall are very much growing and becoming more mobile savvy, and they have a larger expectation now of what is mobile friendly and what is not. So, you know, maybe a few years ago, if there wasn't a great mobile site, people would use their fingers to pinch the screen and, you know, try to figure out whatever they needed from the website. But at this point, people just bounce off. And that's kind of what we're seeing with this stat here, is their expectations have changed very quickly in what they expect in a mobile-friendly site. Do you want to the next slide? Perfect. Yep. So in talking about if you do have a mobile-friendly site, what can we do to make it better? And one thing I encourage everyone to do is actually just sit down and have a brainstorming session with the people at your company where everyone brings out their mobile phone, talks for 10 minutes about what they like, what they don't like, actually taking the time yourself to navigate to certain pages, maybe fill out a registration form or complete a purchase online. I want to highlight we all obviously are experts in mobile consumption with how much we use our phones every day. So likely the things that are bothering you or annoying you about a website are going to be the same as a lot of your consumers. And so a few things to look for that we recommend 100% all mobile-friendly sites should have is, number one, that toolbar in the top right-hand side. So if you're ever on a site and you're looking to navigate to another section, everyone usually looks in the top right to see if there's that drop-down hamburger icon where then you can select any other part of the website to get to. So that's number one. Number two, most important, would be having a search bar. So no one wants to waste time if they're on their mobile phone, they're looking for an answer fast. So being able to search on the website and for it to take you to whatever relevant link there is without having to explore the site and take a long time is very important. And then the third thing I wanted to highlight is having autofill features. So again, like the one main concern for most people is that their customers will get to that point and then not actually complete that form or make the purchase, which we're hoping they're going to do that later on a desktop, but the sooner the better in this case. So just having that autofill feature where maybe if you type in your first name, it'll complete the rest of your contact info, complete your address, or just give you options and make it very easy for entering information. So aside from the site design, the second thing we wanted to highlight was how important your page speed is on a mobile site. So this stat is pretty crazy. 40% of customers actually abandon a site that takes over 3 seconds to load. So again, thinking of ourselves as consumers, we open up, click on a link on our phones, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. If it takes longer than that, we're seeing that 40% of customers are actually completely just bouncing off. Don, are you able to hear me? I wasn't sure if I just cut out.
Yep, I heard you fine. And
okay.
I mentioned at the beginning of our talk today that there were, mobile always has numbers that just really kind of can make your jaw drop. And I will tell you that when this slide was presented at the event that I attended about a month ago, I think everybody in the room's kind of just paid attention, because it's like, when you think about that, 4 out of 10 people won't wait more than 3 seconds for their page to load on their mobile phone. Is like I remember, I'm dating myself, but I remember back in the dial-up days, they used to tell you that 8 seconds was a good speed in the dial-up days, and now we're talking about people not even waiting 3 seconds on a mobile phone. So, to me, very interesting stat, right? Very telling stat. All right, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, you're fine, Don. Thanks. Yeah. So again, obviously page speed is important. People aren't going to stay on your site unless it loads quickly. So what can we do about that? Number one, go to the Google tool for page speed insights. What you can do is you just, again, type in your URL there, and it's going to give you an analysis of basically a score of how good your speed is. So not only does it give you a rating, but then it will give you step-by-step what things you could fix to make your page speed faster. So if you have someone at the company who's more tech savvy or works on coding, things like that, they would probably be the
now you cut. Are you there?
Ones you'd want to relay this information to. The other thing we could do, Don put in the title here. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Because you cut out for about 10 seconds.
Don, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's the famous.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. Sorry for those on the phone.
Perfect. So, no problem. So all I was highlighting was it's going to give you a page speed rating as well as a step-by-step how you can fix it and what things you can do to make it better based on a very detailed approach on what's going on in your mobile site. So that would be number one. And then number two, in the title here, Don put, go to webpagetest.org. What that actually allows you to do is enter your competitors' websites and see whose site is loading faster. So they have an option where you can do like a side-by-side comparison of your own mobile website and maybe your top 3 competitors, and it'll actually show you whose is loading faster. So that's kind of a good benchmark to see if you're, better industry-wide or if you might actually need to invest more in getting your page speed up to speed. So a few case study insights just to prove out this fact more. A lot of companies have seen huge, drastic impacts on their overall bottom line revenue in, again, just investing and making their page speed faster. So a few examples of this to highlight. All of these links go to more detailed overviews, but Fathead, for instance, increased their page speed by 37%, and this equated to a 70% increase in mobile revenue per user. So just a lot of crazy stats here kind of proving out that a page speed is so important in making sure your customers stay on your website. And secondly, not to mention, recently Google has changed how they factor in page speed into organic ranking signals. So obviously that's another side benefit there, that if your page speed is faster, that's equating to a higher ranking on Google organic listings on your mobile phone.
Right.
And this next slide here, sorry, it's really text heavy. This one's just a takeaway. So again, I know we've talked about a lot today, but if we really want to be able to take action on these things, these are a list of resources to use. The 25 Principles of Mobile Design, number 2, is a great thing to look at when, again, if you're walking through with your company and reevaluating how can we improve our mobile site. Those are just, again, Google's 25 principles on what's the best way to create a good user experience. And also number 4, that's that page speed insights we were talking about. It's a very actionable tool giving you real-time feedback on what you could improve on your page speed for your mobile site. All right, Don, I think you're taking it away. We have another poll here.
Yep. Hold on. Expose my thing. All right. So, since we're talking about the full value of mobile, and since I just asked you to look at this a little while ago, I want to know how your mobile conversion rate is doing. Is it increasing, decreasing, flat, or don't you know? All right. I'll give it another couple of seconds. We have a clear winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so consistent with, as I said, Google's data, majority of you are seeing your conversion rate increasing, right? Unfortunately, there are a small minority of you who saw it decreasing year over year, and some of you are flat, right? So, so we're going to talk about now about how you can really understand the full value of mobile. And I am borrowing another idea from our friends at Google. Steph's boss actually did a talk at the event we were at, and he held up this bottle of water, and here's sort of the analogy that he was using, right? I'm sure most of you are familiar with the idea of cross-device conversion tracking and multi-touch attribution, right, as sort of being like holy grail things that we would love to be able to do in a perfect world. And his point with the water bottle analogy was, you know, we have pretty decent information, right, today, right? Yes, it's not perfect, but as I tried to show you here with 3 different images of the water bottle, we have ways to look at, for example, mobile experience from a different, you know, lens or different viewpoint, right? So you've got, you know, the center image. You can't see what's on the back, for example, of that bottle, but I shared the image on the right, which gives you a view of what's on the back. Likewise, the image on the left gives you sort of a top-down view, right? And that's kind of the way it is with understanding the full value of mobile, is we have different places to get data points to really kind of piece that story together, right? So, so our second exercise is going to use the demographics capability in your Google Analytics account, right? So for those who might not be familiar with it, the demographics capability is essentially using the double-click, for lack of a better word, the double-click cookie data, right? And you have to enable it in your GA account, right? And there's 2 places to do that. It's set at the property level. I've got a view up here of the screen from our friends at Jeffers account, right? And you go down to the under property settings where it says data collection, highlighted in red there on the left, right here. And you want to make sure that this little toggle switch is in the on setting. And then the second place you look is inside your tracking section, and you want to enable demographics and interest reports so you can actually see the data in Google Analytics. Okay, so it's a 2-step process there. Okay, I just got my warning that I have to start talking faster. So, okay, so here I want you to look at why mobile might not be converting. Are there other factors at play? So what I want you to do is go into the same report you were in before, Audience Mobile Overview, and then add underneath the secondary dimension. The first example is adding gender, and I've got a visual of that here, right? And I want you to, and here's a view of the report, probably hard for some of you to see, right there is the gender dimension, right? So here's what you should look at, for example, things that you can consider. Do men convert better on mobile than women, right? Is age a factor, right? So you'll have to bring in a different dimension to look at age, right? And then you can look at, do millennials convert better than boomers, right? Are there certain devices, specific devices, right? So you won't find that in the overview. You need to go into the report right below overview to look at specific devices. But maybe you have an issue with one specific mobile device for some reason, right? I remember hearing horror stories about people having issues with, you know, a certain tablet, for example, with a certain browser version not working on their site for some reason, right? So, and let us know, and we'll give you a few seconds. Interesting. We did have somebody chimed in that they have they saw that women converted better for them on mobile. It's interesting. All right. Did anyone get to look at age? Yeah. Another person chimed in that their traffic is mostly men in a certain age bucket, right? Which makes sense because this is going to sound sexist, and sorry if it does, but they sell tech products. So that makes sense to me. Right? You're laughing, but I'll tell you, we had I'll tell you, I could tell you while what you guys are looking, I'll tell you a kind of a cute story, right? So I'm working on Analytics Week last week at 11 o'clock at night, and I got pinged by one of my colleagues here who is from India, and he sent me the URL of a site that he was looking at, and he wanted me to explain to him what the heck this site did and who their audience was. It was a model train, site that sold model train sets. And I said, do you have access to their analytics? And he's like, yeah. I said, I'm willing to bet you that if you go look at their demographics, you're going to find that 70% of them are males 45 and up. And he came back and he said, yep. And he's like, why? And so I sent him to the Amazon, to the Thomas the Train page on Amazon, and said they start there and then they migrate into what you see there. And then for those of you who are not from the East Coast, not from New Jersey, we happen to have in the great state of New Jersey the largest model train museum in the U.S. So I sent him a link to that one as well, right, to help him understand that. So it's just the way it is. All right, we're going to move on because my timer says I got about 10 minutes left. So, and we've got lots to cover. So, all right, Steph, you want to walk them through the update?
Of course. Thanks, Don. So in thinking about that analogy that Don just gave with the water bottle, this is how we want to think again, looking at that water bottle and our mobile phone. So there are multiple valuable actions coming from mobile. Direct conversions is obviously just one of them. So if we're thinking of all the different things that are happening on our mobile phone when our consumers are engaging with mobile that add up to that final direct conversion, whether it takes place on mobile or desktop, these are the type of things we want to be tracking and considering. So one, of course, direct conversions. In addition to that, cross-device conversions, which we've reiterated a lot through this, but when people are going to click on an ad on one device and then later convert on another device. Assisted conversions, as well as phone calls, and then also now measuring foot traffic. So those people who may be researching with your brand and don't purchase, but they then go into the store and purchase. Do you want to go to the next slide, Don? Look at tracking phone calls.
Yeah, so I'll just chime in here. Tracking phone calls is one that I'm particularly kind of passionate about, right? Because I know that a lot of our clients and possibly people on this call, right? Their e-commerce business migrated or evolved out of, let's say, like a catalog business where phone calls used to drive the business and still might drive the business, right? So I just wanted to highlight 3 ways that you can, at least in AdWords, track phone calls, sort of, if you want to consider it like one of those micro conversion events, right? So you have the Google forwarding numbers. You have the ability to tag your site to dynamically alter the phone number an AdWords driven visitor sees, and then you have, you know, the ability to make your phone number, excuse me, clickable on mobile and trackable, right? So the way that you do this is you go back I think we did this yesterday, you go to Tools, Conversions, you click on the red button that says New Conversion, you'll get this menu, you click over there where it says Phone Calls, and then you get this menu, and I've highlighted the 3 options, right? So you've got forwarding numbers, putting a tag to dynamically change the number on your site, and putting a tag to make your number clickable to a mobile user. For those of you who might have Google Tag Manager, it's really easy to do the dynamic changing of the phone number because all it is a custom HTML tag in Google Tag Manager. Very simple to do, right? So I was going to do a poll, but for timing purposes, I am going to skip the poll because we're running at about 8 minutes now. And let Steph kind of walk you through cross-device conversion.
Perfect. Thank you, Don. So when we're talking about a tracking standpoint, obviously this is the #1 most important thing. So we want to make sure we have this right so we can actually see the full value of mobile. So if we're thinking about tracking, obviously we have both AdWords conversion tracking and Google Analytics. And we want to emphasize that both of these are important. However, they give us so in looking at AdWords conversion tracking on the left, we recommend using this as our #1 source for tracking conversions as well as being able to track cross-device conversions. On the right then, if we're talking about Google Analytics, we want to use this for insights on mobile research, the customer's path to purchase, as well as how they're engaging with our site overall. However, we cannot easily track in full cross-device conversions there. The reason being is that Google does not own that analytic data that's proprietary to the company itself. However, side note, Don will be going into more detail about user IDs tomorrow in the analytics webinar.
Yes, yes. Excited about our guest speaker to talk us through that. That is the only path in your analytics data to doing cross-device tracking of conversions, right, is for you, the website owner, to identify the people on those multiple devices and let GA know that, basically. So, sorry, computer.
Right, no problem. So again, just to reinforce, what exactly do we mean by cross-device? So the definition here on the left-hand side, when someone clicks on an AdWords ad on one device and then later converts on another device without another ad click. So the example we're focusing on here, doing all the research on your mobile phone, not converting, and then later going to a desktop and going directly to that website without clicking on the ad and converting there. And through everything we've reiterated today, all the mobile research, obviously we're emphasizing how important these cross-device conversions really are with the rise of and being able to then show that engagement and attribute it to mobile So we're able to accurately invest how much we should in mobile traffic versus desktop traffic. So if we go to the next page, thanks Don, this is good. This is where we actually wanted to walk you through how exactly you can enable those cross-device conversions within your AdWords account.
And I'm going to chime in here. I was going to have you all do an exercise in your AdWords account, but I'm watching our time. So I'll step you through the next slide, which kind of shows you some of the steps. You could do that offline, but I just want to, and we're probably going to run out of time for Q&A just to do housekeeping. So if you've got questions, put them on the question chat or send them to me on analytics@netelixir.com. And because I do want to just make sure we can cover a couple of these last slides that we have in here of information basically sharing, right? So here are a couple of things for you to look at. First off, to do cross-device in AdWords, you have to be using the AdWords conversion tag to track those transactions, right? The way you do that is you go to conversions, right? And then when you get to the conversion actions list, you'll see something that probably alludes to the fact that you have an order or a sale or whatever. What you want to see under source here is website. That means you're using a separate JavaScript tag to track the AdWords conversions versus, let's say, using Google Analytics transaction tracking. If it said analytics there, you would know that you were using Google Analytics transaction tracking. So that's an important thing for you to know. And then the way that you enable is under settings. You enable, there is basically just a simple checkbox. When you go under settings, you can say, hey, do you want to include cross-device conversions in your conversion metric or not, right? And that's the way it works. So I'll walk through this, Steph, if you don't mind. So
go ahead.
One other thing, you have the ability to customize your conversion window in AdWords. You can set it from 30 to 90 days, right? Here's some data from our friends at Google on the conversion count lift based on my extending the 30-day look-back window to 90 days, right? So, for example, B2B, where it's obviously a more complex purchase decision, longer sales cycles, 46% lift, right? For our friends out there, the one I just alluded to earlier who sells tech stuff, right? They saw a 6% lift, right? Retail in general, 3% lift. One way you can kind of get a feel for this is in Google Analytics, there is the path length, I think it's the path length report, which will show you how many days it took for someone from their first visit to the conversion event. And that report cuts off at 12 plus, so 12 plus days. But what you can do in that report is change your look back window, let's say from like 30 to 90 days, and look at the percentage of conversions that in that 12 plus category. If that number jumps a lot, it'll give you some indication that you have a longer sales cycle. Okay.
Perfect. And if I can just add one thing in there, Don, the main takeaway here is, of course, why would we want a different look-back window in AdWords than what our sales cycle actually is? So if you have a customer coming in and from day one, they may not make that final purchase till day 60 or day 90, we want to have that accurately aligning in the look-back window we have in AdWords so that we can properly attribute when did that customer first come to us. And if they did come to us on AdWords, we want to know that so that we can use that in consideration for the future.
All right, we are running out of time, so I'm just going to, I do want to give you the Chromecast challenge. So in the deck here are some slides about some of the tools that are available to you from Google with hyperlinks. So when you get the slides, you'll have the ability to go check out those tools yourself. But I'm going to jump the slides ahead here a little bit. I'll also show you how you set the look back window there. It's a very simple setting. And because our friends at Google were so nice to offer this to you. Here's the challenge, right? So you need to answer these questions and send us screenshots of your answers, basically. So how does your percent of traffic from mobile compare between U.S. visitors and non-U.S. visitors, all right? And what I ask you to do is send me the screenshots, including a screenshot that looks something like this of your custom segment setup that allowed you to compare those two numbers. And then if you have an e-commerce site, what percent of your total orders come from mobile users located outside the U.S.? And if you're not an e-commerce site, I want to know what pages have the most bounces from visitors located outside the U.S. This was really, I would tell you at the event we went to, this was an eye-opening exercise not only for myself and my colleague who attended, but also for a lot of people in the room, right? And I don't know if this is a view of your data that people intuitively go look at, right? So with that, I now can see I'm over my hour time period. Here again is today's thought experiment, all right? I can't see Isma, so I'm sure it's probably posted on the Netelixir LinkedIn page. Don't forget, if you're interested in this 10-point complimentary mobile experience scorecard audit, send me a note on analytics@netelixir.com. And then I cannot plug tomorrow's session enough. Tomorrow at 11, because Paul will be joining us from Europe, we're talking about the user ID capability in analytics. This is your ability to identify a person on your website and let Google know who that person is, essentially. So if you're a B2B business, and all B2B businesses care about relationships and repeat business, right, this is a can't miss session, okay? And with that, I'll thank you, and I'll draw today to a close. And again, submit your questions either through the email or the chat window here. And Steph, can't thank you enough. And
thank you for having me, Don.
All right, and thank you all for attending.